Hello, everyone. For a long time, I debated sharing this story. It is raw, it is painful, and honestly, parts of it still make my blood run cold. But I think it is important. It is about betrayal, standing up for yourself, and reclaiming your life when someone tries to treat you like an option. My name is Ethan. I am 32 years old, and until very recently, I thought I was living the perfect life with the woman I was going to marry. Olivia is 30. And when I met her 4.5 years ago, she was everything I thought I wanted. Charismatic, ambitious, beautiful. She is a marketing director, great at building relationships, selling ideas, crafting images. We clicked instantly. We moved in together after a year, and things felt right. We talked about the future constantly, marriage, kids, careers. It was like we were building this incredible structure together, brick by brick. I'm a senior civil engineer. I build bridges, buildings, things meant to last, things that require meticulous planning and a solid foundation. I approached our relationship the same way. 18 months ago, I proposed. It was simple, intimate, just us. Olivia was ecstatic. Tears, hugs, professing her love. We started planning the wedding, a beautiful outdoor ceremony next fall, a moderate guest list, all the trimmings. We pored over Pinterest boards, visited venues, met with caterers. We had already dropped $20,000, maybe $30,000 in deposits and planning expenses, mostly from savings I had built up over the years. It was a significant investment, not just of money, but of our shared future. But the biggest investment, the one that felt like the absolute cornerstone of our life together, was the house. I bought the house before I met Olivia, a solid but slightly dated property in a great neighborhood. Over the last 2 years, we had embarked on a massive renovation project. We sank every dollar of our combined savings, well over $150,000, into it. I took out a second mortgage for another $200,000. We gutted the kitchen, added a spa bathroom, landscaped the yard, refinished floors, replaced windows. Everything was top of the line. We spent weekends at design centers, debated paint colors, picked out fixtures together. It was our project, our dream. Even though the deed was solely in my name, we always talked about it as our house, our future. The renovations weren't just about making it look nice. They were about building a physical representation of our commitment and future life together. Looking back, the cracks were there, subtle at first, easily dismissed when you do not want to see them. Olivia's initial wedding enthusiasm started to wane about 6 months ago. She would leave vendor emails unanswered for days, sigh when I brought up wedding details, cancel dress fitting appointments last minute with vague excuses. Too stressed with work, she would say. My plate's just full right now. I told myself it was normal. Wedding planning is stressful. Her job is demanding. I built excuses for her the way I built bridges, piece by piece, adding support where there was none. Then came the phone secrecy. She used to leave her phone lying around. Suddenly, it was glued to her hand. She would take it to the bathroom, flip the screen down if I walked by, jump if a notification popped up, and stay up late texting, a little smile playing on her lips, claiming it was just work. Her excuses for canceling plans became more frequent, more elaborate, and less plausible. Weekends away became more common, visiting my parents, a last-minute work retreat, but she was vague on details when I asked. My gut was screaming, but my head was building excuses, desperate to preserve the picture-perfect future I thought we had. The first major jolt came a few months ago at a mutual friend's anniversary party. We were all chatting, drinks in hand, when someone brought up the topic of significant past relationships. Harmless enough, right? Until Olivia, out of nowhere, brought up Mark. Mark, her college ex. The guy who serially cheated on her, broke her heart into a million pieces, and was, by all accounts, a genuinely terrible person. But she always talked about him later with a strange mix of pain and romanticized longing, like he was the great love she lost due to circumstances. Sometimes, she said, swirling her wine, looking wistful, I just wonder what would have happened if Mark and I, if we had met at a different time, or if he hadn't had his issues. He was my biggest heartbreak. You never really get over that kind of connection. A heavy silence fell over the group. I felt a cold knot form in my stomach. The air thickened. People shifted uncomfortably. I managed a tight smile. Later that night, when we were alone, I asked her about it. Mark? Seriously? After everything he did? Why would you even think about that? She waved it away, a dismissive gesture that felt calculated. Oh, it was just conversation, Ethan. Don't be so dramatic. It was years ago, but the coldness in her eyes, the way she avoided my gaze, stayed with me. I did not push it, scared of the answer, scared of shattering the illusion. That was my mistake. I should have torn down the excuse I built and faced the crumbling foundation right then. My unease grew into a constant, low-level anxiety. She was more distant, more critical. Little comments about my habits, my friends, even my engineering felt sharper, laced with impatience. She seemed less present in our shared life, more consumed by something happening just out of my sight. I tried talking to her, asking what was wrong, if she was okay. She would shut down, say I was imagining things, accuse me of being insecure or needy. The tension in the house became a physical weight. It felt like walking on eggshells in the home we had poured our souls into creating. The breaking point came on a Tuesday evening. I got off work early, planning a quiet night in. As I walked into the living room, I found Olivia on the couch, her laptop open, but she was not working. She was just staring at the screen, a look of profound unhappiness and distraction on her face. The air was thick, silent. "Hey, I'm home," I said, my voice maybe a little too cheerful, trying to break the tension. "You're early," she said, not looking up. It sounded less like a statement and more like an accusation. I shrugged it off and went to the kitchen to make some tea, but the silence felt oppressive. Usually, she would ask about my day, tell me about hers. Nothing tonight. I leaned against the counter, looking at her. "Liv, is everything okay?" She closed her laptop slowly, deliberately, and finally looked at me. My stomach plummeted. I knew that look. It was the look before bad news. "Actually," she said, her voice carefully neutral, "there is something we need to talk about." My hands felt clammy. I walked over and sat across from her. "All right," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "What's going on?" She paused, biting her lip, looking anywhere but at me. Then, she just blurted it out. "I've been thinking about us. And about Mark." For a second, I honestly thought it was a joke. A dark, messed up joke. "Mark? Are you serious?" I asked, a strangled laugh escaping me. "What about him?" She took a deep breath. I think I need some time. Some space. I need to figure things out." She finally met my eyes, and her expression was not sad, but determined. "I want to take a break from our engagement. I need to see if there's still something there with Mark." My world tilted. I stared at her, completely numb. "You want to take a break? To date your ex? The one who cheated on you? Are you out of your mind, Olivia? We're engaged. The wedding is 6 months away. We just spent $500,000 on this house." "It is not like that," she said quickly, holding up her hands as if she could smooth over the gaping chasm she had just opened. I need to know if I'm making the right choice with you. And if it doesn't work out, I promise I will come back." That was it. That line. "If it does not work out, I promise I will come back." The sheer, unadulterated audacity of it hit me like a physical blow. She thought I would just sit here, wait, be her backup plan while she went and explored things with the guy who had already proven he was incapable of loyalty. Something inside me snapped, but not outwardly. It was a quiet, cold snap. I did not yell. I did not plead. I just sat there, looking at her, this woman I thought I knew, wondering how I'd been so blind. "So," I asked, my voice dangerously calm, quieter than I intended, "what does this break mean to you exactly?" She seemed to relax slightly, as if she had anticipated yelling and was relieved I was being reasonable. "It means we take some space. We pause things. I need time to figure out my feelings for Mark. And you can use the time to reflect on us." I leaned forward, incredulous. "Wait, let me get this straight. You need to go date your ex to figure out if you want to be with me, but I need to reflect on us? What twisted logic is that, Olivia? What exactly do I need to reflect on?" "My willingness to be put on hold while you go have a little what-if adventure with a known cheater." She sighed dramatically, as if I were the one being difficult. This is not about you doing anything wrong, Ethan. This is about me figuring out what I need. Before I commit forever, I have to be sure. The words sounded rehearsed, flat, and that is when it truly hit me. Twist number one. This was not confusion. This was a calculated decision. She wasn't just exploring. She was actively choosing to put us on hold to see if Mark was the one now. She felt she had some unfinished business with him, some romanticized past she needed to revisit, and she was willing to risk everything we built on the chance that the toxic guy from her past had magically changed. My control was starting to fray, but I held on to it by a thread. You know how insane this sounds, right? I muttered. You don't just put your fiancé on pause like a Netflix show while you go revisit your past trauma. Her face hardened. I'm not asking for permission, Ethan. I'm telling you what I need. That line landed like a punch. I'm telling you what I need, not what I hope or what I think. A demand. My pain curdled into a cold, hard anger. Then I saw it. A flash on her laptop screen as she had closed it. A message notification from months ago, barely visible, from Mark. And a vague memory clicked into place. A credit card statement I had glanced at weeks ago. A charge for an expensive gift certificate at a store Mark liked. Something I had questioned her about and she had dismissed as client gifting. Twist number two. This wasn't a recent development. She hadn't just suddenly started thinking about Mark. Months, I said, my voice flat, devoid of emotion. You've been talking to him for months, haven't you? Her eyes widened for a split second, then narrowed. What are you talking about? Don't lie to me, Olivia. I saw that notification. I saw the charge for mention the type of store or gift. This wasn't a sudden realization. This was planned. You've been grooming your ex on the side, haven't you? Testing the waters before you asked for your convenient little break. She jumped up, defensive, furious. You were spying on me? How dare you? This is exactly why I need space. You're controlling and paranoid. No, I said, standing up too, meeting her angry gaze with a calm, devastating finality. You're confusing cause and effect. You acted like you had something to hide. You asked for a break to chase another man while you were engaged to me. And that, I swept my hand around the living room, indicating the house, the life we had built. That is where this ends. I took a breath, the anger hardening into resolve. Okay, Olivia, you want a break to figure things out with Mark? You got it. My voice was quiet, almost conversational. But understand this. This isn't a pause button. This is a hard stop. You walk out that door to pursue your past. You walk out of my life. There is no coming back. When you realize he is the same toxic guy he always was, I won't be here waiting like a faithful dog. The engagement is over. Effective immediately. Her face crumpled, a mix of shock and sudden fear. No, that is not what I meant. Ethan, please. What about the wedding? What about the house? We can fix this. I just need time. You should have thought about the wedding and the house. I repeated, my voice cold, before you decided you needed to date your ex to see if I was the one. That decision was yours. The consequences are mine to decide. I turned my back on her and walked into the kitchen, leaving her standing there. I heard her frustrated gasp, then the sound of her hurrying into the bedroom, pulling a suitcase from the closet. The next few minutes were a blur of muffled sounds as she threw things into a bag. I stayed in the kitchen, staring out the window, my mind racing, a cold clarity washing over me. The pain was a sharp ache in my chest, but it was overshadowed by a fierce determination. She had chosen to detonate our future, believing she could just return if her little experiment failed. She had no idea the kind of structure I was capable of building or dismantling. Then, I heard the front door open and close. She was gone, probably picturing me sitting on the couch, heartbroken, waiting for her call. She was wrong. Very, very wrong. I pulled out my phone and dialed the first number that came to mind. Jake. Hey man, you free to talk? Something significant just happened. Jake is one of my oldest friends, a sharp lawyer who specializes in real estate and contracts. He is also brutally honest. I laid it all out for him. The 4 years, the engagement, the house renovations, the wedding plans, the break request, Mark, and the chilling audacity of it all. I told him how I had ended it on the spot. There was silence on the other end for a moment. Then Jake whistled softly. Okay, Ethan. Deep breath. That is a lot. But you did the right thing ending it immediately. As for the house, legally, you are golden. Deed is in your name. Any money she put in is technically a gift towards shared living expenses unless you had a separate written agreement, which you did not. But the renovations, I said, my voice tight. We put everything into that. Our savings, the second mortgage, it felt like ours. I know it felt like yours, man, Jake said gently. And morally, she contributed. But legally, it is your asset. Period. Be prepared, though. Her, or more likely her family, will probably try to argue she is entitled to something. They'll feel she has a claim because of the money and effort. Be ready for that entitlement. That conversation solidified my resolve. This was not just about heartbreak anymore. It was about protecting myself from someone who had shown they had no respect for me or our commitment, and who clearly felt entitled to benefit from the life we built even as she walked away from it. What is your plan? Jake asked. Sell the house, I said immediately. Fast, and cut ties completely. Smart move, he replied. You cannot heal if you're living in a monument to what she destroyed. I have had a realtor I trust, moves property like hotcakes. I will give you his number. Within 24 hours, I had met with the realtor Jake recommended. He was impressed with the renovations, the location. The market was indeed hot. He gave me an aggressive price that was significantly higher than our combined investment and the outstanding mortgage. We list now, he said. We can likely get you multiple offers within days. This place is a gem. A grim smile touched my lips. A gem we built. The thought of selling it was painful, like tearing off a limb, but also liberating. It was the ultimate act of reclaiming my future. I signed the exclusive listing agreement on the spot. Next, I dealt with Olivia's belongings. I did not do it in a rage. I did it methodically, carefully. I went through the house, room by room, and packed everything that was hers. Her clothes, her books, her toiletries, her photos, her collections of decorative trinkets. I was clinical about it. I even packed the expensive designer bags I'd bought her, the sentimental gifts, the wedding-related items that were clearly hers, like her bride, robe, and wedding planning magazines. I took photos of everything, creating a clear inventory, just like Jake suggested. This was not revenge. It was disassembly. It was erasing her physical presence from my life. I hired a professional moving company, a reputable one known for being discreet and efficient. I instructed them to pick up the boxes and deliver them directly to her parents' address. No call ahead, no confirmation. Just deliver. I included a small, plain envelope with the boxes. Inside was a single note, printed, devoid of emotion, echoing her own actions and words. Olivia, as you requested space to explore your past options, your belongings have been delivered to help you settle into your new chapter. The house is listed for sale. Ethan, I knew it was cold, but she had opted for cold calculation over love and commitment. She wanted to treat our engagement as something she could press pause on. I showed her it had an eject button. The initial signs of her realization came quickly. First, texts that were confused, feigning concern. Hope you're okay, Ethan, thinking of you. I did not reply. Then, they became more frequent, hints of panic creeping in. She likely found out the house was listed. Perhaps a friend saw the listing online, or the realtor put up the sign. What are you doing? Why is the house listed? We need to talk about this. My replies were minimal, factual, and unwavering. The engagement is over, Olivia. The house is being sold. Then, the movers arrived at her parents' house. That's when the real storm broke. Her texts and calls became frantic, angry, accusatory. You sent my things away. What the hell, Ethan? How could you? This isn't what I meant by a break. You're being cruel. You're ruining everything. You got the space you asked for, Olivia. I texted back. How I choose to use the space in my life is no longer your concern. This is where the pressure from her family started. Twist number 3. Her older brother, David, called me. David is loud, aggressive, and always felt entitled to speak on Olivia's behalf. He's in construction, owns some properties, sees himself as a shrewd businessman. Ethan, what the hell do you think you're doing? David yelled the moment I answered. Sending Liv's things away? Listing the house? You're losing your mind. David, I said calmly. Olivia ended our engagement when she asked for a break to pursue her ex. I simply accepted her decision and took the logical steps that follow. Logical steps? You're throwing her out. You're stealing her share of the house. His voice was booming now. She put money into that house. Her taste. Her time. She's entitled to compensation for those renovations. She contributed to renovating my house. David, I corrected him, keeping my voice level. That was an investment in a future with me. A future she chose to walk away from to go after Mark. Legally, she has no claim. Morally, she forfeited that claim the moment she decided I was just an option. That's not fair. She's my sister. You can't just do this. He went on, threatening legal action, threatening to make my life difficult. He demanded I pull the listing and give Olivia a large sum of money, throwing out numbers that were half the renovation costs, then half the potential sale profit. I listened patiently, letting him rant. His aggression, his sense of entitlement on his sister's behalf despite her actions, only solidified my resolve. David, I finally cut in, my voice firm. Your sister made her choice. I have made mine. The house is selling. Her things are with your parents. There will be no compensation paid for renovations on a property she is no longer involved with by her own choice. Any further communication regarding this should go through my attorney, Jake Henderson. Do not contact me again. I hung up before he could reply. Dealing with him was unpleasant, but it reinforced how necessary my actions were. This wasn't just Olivia. It was an entire family unit that felt entitled to dictate terms and demand benefits despite complete disregard for commitment or fairness. Meanwhile, the social circles we shared were buzzing. Sarah, a mutual friend who worked in an industry adjacent to Olivia's, became an unexpected amplifier. I had told her the simple truth. Olivia chose to explore her ex, so I ended it. I did not add drama, just facts. Sarah saw Olivia's vague, self-pitying social media posts about difficult decisions and finding herself, and she saw my quiet, factual updates, e.g., a simple post about listing the house. The contrast was stark. Sarah started talking to other friends. She told me later that most people were shocked by Olivia's actions, especially given Mark's reputation. My calm, factual approach made Olivia's spin attempts look pathetic and dishonest. People respected that I was handling it cleanly, without public drama, just leaving. Then came twist number 4. While Olivia was supposedly exploring things with Mark, he lived up to his toxic reputation in spectacular fashion. I heard about it from Sarah. Apparently, Mark got arrested for a minor but publicly embarrassing incident like public intoxication or maybe something related to a bounce check or a small fraud. He even made a crass post on social media later that hinted at being back with the college sweetheart and celebrating his freedom, completely oblivious to the complexities he had stepped into. This news spread like wildfire through our shared network. It was not directly related to me, but it completely undermined any narrative Olivia might have been building about finding true love with Mark. It made her look desperate, foolish, and like her judgment was severely impaired. Choosing a known screw-up over a stable, committed relationship, and then having that screw-up publicly embarrass himself while she was pursuing him, the optics were terrible. Sarah told me people were shaking their heads, confirming their earlier doubts about Olivia's character and choices. Olivia's communication became more frantic. She realized the social ground was shifting beneath her. You're telling people about Mark. You're ruining my reputation. This isn't fair. I just needed time. She even tried to blame me for Mark's incident somehow, claiming the stress I caused pushed him to it. Your reputation, I replied to one of her last messages, was impacted by your decision to leave your fiancé for your toxic ex and by Mark's own actions, not by me stating facts. Things moved quickly after that. My West Coast job application, which I had put in motion as part of building my new future, came through. It was a significant promotion, a fantastic opportunity to start completely fresh in a new city, far away from the drama. Accepting it felt like another major step in reclaiming my life. The house sale went through without a hitch. Multiple offers came in quickly, and it sold above the listing price. Sitting at the closing table, signing the final papers, I felt a profound sense of relief and finality. The money from the sale, after paying off the mortgage and covering costs, was substantial. The profit from our renovations, the one she felt entitled to, was entirely mine, legally and morally. It was a tangible result of my stability and foresight, and a stark contrast to the consequences Olivia was starting to face. The professional fallout for Olivia was twist number 5, and it hit her where it hurt the most: her career and public image. As a marketing director, her reputation for good judgment, stability, and strong relationships was crucial. The drama surrounding her broken engagement, her pursuit of a toxic ex, the messy social narrative, and Mark's public behavior all converged. Sarah, who had industry contacts, told me that a major client Olivia was pitching a contract that would have been a huge win for her pulled out. The reason given, unofficially, was concerns about leadership stability and professional judgment, given the public nature of her recent personal life. Other potential clients became hesitant. Her carefully crafted image was cracking under the weight of her choices. Olivia's last attempts to contact me were desperate, a complete reversal from her earlier entitlement and aggression. Calls from blocked numbers, long, rambling emails, tearful voicemails. She admitted Mark was a disaster. He was the same as ever. She made a mistake. She loved me. She wanted me back. She even offered to pay me back for the renovations if I would just take her back and stop the social bleeding. I did not reply. Not verbally, not in writing. There was nothing left to say. She had laid out her terms. I was an option, a backup plan. When that plan failed, she wanted to revert to the original version. But the software was corrupted beyond repair. The foundation was gone. The bridge was burned. I finished packing my own life into boxes. Saying goodbye to Jake was easy. It was a handshake, a look that said you did good, and a promise to stay in touch. Leaving the house for the last time was bittersweet. It held so many memories, so many dreams we built, and she destroyed. But as I locked the door for the final time, I did not feel defeated. I felt light, free. I drove west, toward a new city, a new job, a new life. The pain of the betrayal was still there, a dull ache, a scar. But the constant anxiety, the walking on eggshells, the desperation to maintain a facade, that was gone. What happened to Olivia? I hear bits and pieces through the grapevine, mostly from Sarah. Her career took a significant hit. She lost clients. Her reputation is damaged. David apparently tried to cause trouble, but Jake shut him down legally and factually. Mark eventually faded away again, proving he hadn't changed. I hear she struggled financially, maybe had to move back in with her parents permanently. Did she learn anything? I do not know. Maybe, maybe not. Some people are so consumed by their own desires and sense of entitlement that they never see the damage they cause. My life isn't perfect now. Starting over is hard. But I wake up in the morning in a place I chose, building a future for myself by myself. I am not someone's option. I am the main character in my own story. And sometimes, when someone shows you they do not value you, the strongest and smartest move you can make is to simply remove yourself from their equation entirely, leaving them to face the reality they created alone. She wanted a break to explore her ex. I gave her the permanent break from my life. And that made all the difference.